British soldiers walked into the White House, ate the president's dinner, and then burned it down. Here's what really happened. Hey everyone, imagine this. Thick black smoke choking the sky, flames roaring through the windows of America's most famous house, and enemy soldiers cheering as they watch it burn. The president fleeing for his life. This isn't some Hollywood blockbuster. It actually happened right here in Washington, D.C. Welcome to the shocking true story of the day the White House was set on fire. It was the summer of 1814, during the War of 1812. America and Britain were at each other's throats again. US troops had burned the Canadian capital of York earlier, and the British were hungry for payback. A tough, experienced British force sailed up the Chesapeake Bay, their eyes locked on the young nation's capital. President James Madison was away with the army, leaving his wife Dolley Madison alone in the president's house, what we now call the White House. As British troops drew closer after smashing American forces at the Battle of Bladensburg, panic swept through the streets of D.C. People fled in terror. Dolly's heart must have been racing, but she refused to panic. But wait till you hear what happened next. On August 24th, with the enemy practically at the doorstep, Dolly got the urgent warning, "Get out now." Servants rushed around the mansion. Dolly wasn't leaving without saving what mattered most, save the portrait of George Washington. She commanded. The giant painting was bolted to the wall. With time running out, they smashed the frame and carefully rolled up the canvas, that priceless symbol of America's founding father. She also gathered silver, documents, and other treasures. Just minutes later, Dolly escaped to safety in Maryland, her carriage rumbling away as distant gunfire echoed. The British marched into the nearly empty city that evening, led by Admiral George Cockburn and General Robert Ross. They strolled right into the president's house, and what they found was unbelievable. The dining table was elegantly set with a delicious feast prepared for President Madison himself. In a moment of pure arrogance and mockery, the soldiers sat down, ate the meal using the White House china and silverware, and toasted their victory. Then came the horrifying climax. Satisfied and ready for destruction, they piled up furniture, drapes, and anything that would burn. They added gunpowder to make sure it caught fast. Torches were lit, and soon the grand mansion was engulfed in furious flames. The Capitol building suffered the same fate. The sky glowed red as the heart of American power burned. Citizens watching from afar felt a gut-wrenching mix of fear, anger, and shame. How could this happen to the United States? But here's where fate stepped in. A violent thunderstorm, some accounts even mention a tornado, blasted through Washington that night. Torrential rain poured down, helping to extinguish the fires. The British, soaked and facing potential American counterattacks, decided to withdraw the very next day without destroying private homes. The White House was devastated inside. Walls scorched black, interiors gutted, yet its strong stone shell survived. President Madison and Dolly returned days later, devastated but determined. It took 3 years of hard work to rebuild. In 1817, President James Monroe moved back in. To cover the burn marks, they painted the exterior a brilliant white, and that's partly how the name White House became official. This fire wasn't the end, it was a turning point. It tested America's spirit and proved that even in our darkest hours, we rise from the ashes stronger. Dolly's bravery saved a piece of our heritage, and the rebuilt White House stands today as a powerful symbol of resilience and democracy. Friends, what a wild ride through history, right? The day the White House burned is a reminder that no matter what fires we face, the American spirit endures. If this story gave you chills and fired up your curiosity, do me a huge favor, hit that like button right now. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss these thrilling historical tales. And comment below what shocked you the most, Dolly's heroic escape or the British eating dinner before burning the place. I read every comment. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one. Hook, 2D animated cinematic 4K scene, dramatic multi-phase composition. Foreground shows British soldiers in red uniforms sitting at an elegant White House dining table, laughing and raising glasses in a mocking toast, detailed food, silverware, and candles glowing warmly, mid-ground transitions. Into soldiers standing and knocking over chairs while lighting torches. Background shows the White House engulfed in massive flames, with thick black smoke rising into a dark red sky, embers floating in the air, intense fire lighting reflecting on soldiers' faces, cinematic lighting, high contrast. Between warm candlelight and destructive flames, dynamic storytelling composition, ultra-detailed, historical accuracy, epic and shocking atmosphere.